Hey everyone, it's Veroosh. Welcome back to my channel. I'm excited to talk to you guys today about the eclipses and how the retrogrades are interacting with it. We tried to film this yesterday and unfortunately there was a problem, a technical issue on my side. We ended up sitting around and just chatting, but I'd like to do the video today. If there's another interruption today, I'm going to make the video for members only. So I'll finish it up and post it in parts to members. And then I will do a write-up and put it on my Substack down below. I have this problem with my nails, if you're wondering what this is, from getting my nails done before. So I just taped it up so it's not ghastly, but let me tell you about what's going on astrologically so you get a familiarity with the energy of these eclipses. So there's a technical term for what is happening that you can take from critical theory. Hold on. Oh, I knew I forgot something. I forgot my notes. Sorry, I'll open them up. I was like, I always forget something. It's almost like an anticipation. There it is. Okay, so basically there's a technical term for what's going on. It's called a chiasmus. A chiasmus is when there is a reciprocal relationship between two different parts of like a storyline or a narrative. And so astrology is very similar to a narrative in the sense that different transits happen together in synchronicity. And so the chiasmus, we are under the chiasmus. And so essentially the energy is overlapping together and weaving together into this tapestry. And so this is all connected to the eclipses. Essentially what's going on astrologically in a big picture is that we have big shifts happening between Pisces and Aries. And both the inner planets, Venus and Mercury, are retrograde. So not only personal planets, but Venus and Mercury specifically are retrograde at the same time in the same part of the sky. I just realized that what I'm going to try to do is record this on my end. So if something does go off, then I will film it. Okay. I just realized that I'm private. The setting's private. Let me try to open it up so you guys see me. I'm sitting all by myself. Okay, so hold on one sec. Details. Let's see. How did this go private? Some type of setting was changed. Okay, hold on one sec. Huh. It's not showing me. Hold on one sec. I know I can switch it because I've switched it before. Customization. These are comments. Oh, there we go. Okay, I'm going to make it public so you guys are going to come in right now. Hi guys. Okay, I'm on the way. So I'm going to explain. So if you're coming in now, basically I've been explaining the astrology, but I was private, so now it's public for everybody to watch. Sorry about that. Anyway, so basically, like I was saying, the energy is shifting between Pisces and Aries, and the inner planets are retrograde. So there are three personal planets, Mars, Venus, and Mercury, but there are two planets that are sandwiched between the Earth and the Sun, and that's Mercury and Venus. So they're the inner planets, interpersonal planets. They're the most intimate planets because they relate our relationship, between the Earth and the Sun. So these planets govern a lot to do with personal relationships, and they're very important for how we relate to the world around us. And so they've both gone retrograde. They are connected to eclipses that are happening in mid-March, the one that just happened, as well as the eclipse that is coming up in a couple days on the 9th. So I thought that I would explain to you this relationship so you can see it for yourself, so you could see how it's coming together and how the energies are working together in greater detail. Today's astrology is not super intense, so what I'm going to do is do the astrology, explain it to you guys, and then we'll do the all sign. Okay, so basically Venus went retrograde on March 2nd at 10 degrees of Aries. She will turn direct at 24 degrees of Pisces. So Venus is gone into the underworld. Tomorrow on the 22nd is the Cazimi. That is the point at which the Sun and Venus join together and she begins to emerge. Venus will emerge from under the beams of the Sun and become visible starting about March 31st, and then she will be in Pisces. This emergence happens to coincide with Venus's exaltation point at 27 degrees Pisces. That's where the North Node is. So this is all working significantly together in order to bring our awareness to our own personal experience through the outward representation of Aries and into the more sacred and personal, the more divine nature of Venus. If you want to get familiar with an alternate interpretation of Pisces and Venus energies, I wrote a short story about a fish that I posted on Instagram. And it's basically taking the themes, very ancient themes of the Pisces energy connected to Venus. And I wrote my own reinterpretation of a story that's shared between many cultures and people. I will link that. It's not in the description yet, but I will link that in the description later. So we're taking themes of Venus and Aries that have a lot to do with self-confidence, and the self, improving the self, showing love to yourself. We're going through a retrograde cycle and emerging into Pisces, which is elevating that conversation into her exalted point at 27 degrees of Pisces, and it has to do with higher forms of awareness. So it's kind of like a higher octave or a higher understanding of qualities of love. So that love becomes not only singular to yourself, but that love extends out to other people in a more holistic, spiritual, and connected love. This is synchronistic with Saturn and Neptune in Pisces that are in the last degrees of Pisces, about to emerge into Aries, and also the North Node that has just entered Pisces from Aries and will transit over the next year and a half. So we are exploring themes of self-awareness, and Pisces being the last sign of the zodiac, we are coming to terms with all of those life lessons that we have come to this point in time. Venus expresses love into those areas of our life and helps us ascend and learn at a higher level. So that's interesting. Then we have Mercury retrograde that began on March 15th. March 15th, also at 10 degrees of Aries, and it will continue until April 7th at 27 degrees of Pisces. So that's where Venus emerges and where the North Node is right now. So while Venus expresses love, care, and nurture, Mercury is the planet of communication, but it's also the conduit of magic. One of the properties of Mercury is to relay information between the gods. And if you think of the sun as the god, Mercury in some way relays the manifestation energy of the sun to us here on Earth. So Mercury retrograde in Aries also focuses on Aries themes such as manifestation for the self, improving yourself, rewriting narratives that oppress you. So we've been seeing Chiron retrograde in Aries for the last several years. This has been a particularly vulnerable time for people where they get really in touch with what hurts and what is a challenge for them in their lives, how they are labeled. So this Mercury retrograde is giving us an opportunity to rewrite those narratives. And then when it reemerges after its Cazimi with the sun, emerges into Pisces, it elevates that self-protective energy of Aries and moves into the spiritual realm of the water sign. And so, again, that story on Instagram about the fish can really articulate some of the more nuanced representations of Pisces. So Venus and Mercury are moving through Aries into Pisces, and there is this kind of backwards motion in the sky because the planets move this direction, but the retrograde appears as though they are moving backwards. Technically, what's happening is they're passing the Earth, and it's an optical illusion. So they're passing the Earth in their orbit around the sun, and as they pass, there's a brief period of time in which they appear to move backwards. That's the retrograde. Effectively, what the retrograde does for us, it gives us this perception of taking things back, referring to lessons of the past and referring to things that have happened. And this is the core of the chiasmus. This is the core of this energy that is sort of overlapping or interconnected. So I'm trying to articulate it so that it's pretty clear. Okay, so this is the tricky part. It's not crystal clear because we have just finished a series of transits in Virgo and Pisces, meaning, it's not crystal clear because we have just finished a series of eclipses in Aries and Libra, and we'll get to that in a minute. We're just beginning a series of eclipses in Virgo and Pisces that began in September 2024. And so what's important about this is that these are the areas where eclipses will happen in Virgo and in Pisces. And we already saw an eclipse in Virgo. Hold on. We saw an eclipse in Pisces, a full moon eclipse in Pisces last year, and then a full moon in Virgo. And then again, we will see a new moon in Virgo in September. These three eclipses, as I've told you before, they are on not only in the same axis, but they're within the same degrees. So they're interacting intensely with Saturn, North Node, and Neptune all together as one. But what's important for us, for our understanding today, is that this series of eclipses over the next little while in Pisces will all be lunar eclipses. They're all the three full moon eclipses that are going to happen between now and 2026. So everything that's happening alongside the North Node from now until next year is alongside the North Node. There's no new moon here for us. This is all coming to a completion, coming to maturity, energy that is kind of coming into itself. And so what's important about that is overall, the pattern astrologically is that major planets like Pluto, Neptune, and Uranus are moving into air and fire and masculine energies. They're moving away from where these eclipses are happening now, away from Pisces and Virgo, which are feminine, water, and earth signs. And so this series of eclipses is actually pointing back to the past. So that's the chiasmus. It's not just that Venus and Mercury are reaching back. It's that it's synchronistic with the pattern of eclipses. I'm going to write this out again because it's a little confusing, and I'll do a chart and I'll put that on my Substack. I know I have a few things to catch up on, but one thing after another. Last night I had a delay, so please bear with me, but I will put it out there so you guys have that written up so you can, it's easier to see it sometimes, right? To read it over. So just to reiterate again, so in this series of eclipses, all of the Pisces eclipses are full moon eclipses with the North Node. North Node tells us where we are going and where the energy will be building to. So full moon eclipses are signifying that something is not beginning here, but rather something has begun and continues to emerge or come into catharsis, come into completion. And so when we have these full moons on, I'll tell you the dates right now, on the September 21st, 2024, September 7th, 2025, and August 28th, 2020. That's right, August 28th, 2026. I was shocked. I wrote it down. I have like notes by hand. I surprised myself. All of these eclipses will be alongside the North Node. There will be full moon eclipses. And so what this is saying to us is this is a completion point for the energy of these outer planets. It's synchronistic. It's synchronistic with the energy of Pluto, Neptune, and Uranus in Capricorn, Pisces, and Taurus, and all of these energies shifting into the fire and air signs. And these eclipses are actually pointing to the past. The eclipse series that we're in now with Pisces. It's pointing to the past and telling us to put things together. So online, people are saying that this is it. Everything's changing now. I think this is actually indicating that this series of eclipses in Pisces between now and 2026, we are going to be going through a rehash of the past as we move forward. So it's a little, like I said, it's a chiasmus, which means that the energy that we're dealing now is in reference to the past, while Pluto, Neptune, and Uranus are moving into forward moving stations. Okay, so I hope that's clear about Pisces. So for the next year and a half, you are going to be dealing out situations from the last decade to 20 years that have to do with themes of Virgo and Pisces, water and earth, feminine energies. So how your life has been up until now. So sort of tidying up that energy and then moving forward. But you will already be existing in a space that is dominated by Pluto in Aquarius, Neptune in Aries, and Uranus in Gemini, which is masculine. Okay, so that's the lunar eclipses. And the second part of this is the eclipses in Aries. So we get an eclipse here on March 9th. March 29th, sorry. It's 9 degrees of Aries. Lots of numbers to remember. So there is a new moon eclipse here at 9 degrees of Aries. And so in this series, this is the last of 3 solar eclipses that we had in Aries since 2024. Since 2023. So between 2023 and 2025, we had 3 new moon eclipses in Aries alongside the North Node that was transiting through Aries. And that was in a reference to this energy that we're in now. You see, it's a complete crisscross of energy. So in other words, in the subtext of things, we have begun the future. So the future has begun for us as early as April 20th, 2023. The 3 eclipses in Aries are April 20th, 2023, April 18th, 2024. That was the famous eclipse. I think that was actually the 8th, right? April 8th, 2024. And then there was the March 29th, 2025 eclipse, which is the one that's coming up. And so that is the last of the series. So in the last series of eclipses in Aries, there was no eclipses that were full moon eclipses, which is telling us the energy was beginning alongside the North Node. And so some of it was likely, hidden. Some of it may have been not clear, but this energy was sort of seeded in those eclipse years of the 3 solar eclipses in Aries, 23, 24, and 25. And so if just to be clear, some people might get it already, but some people may need further clarification. And so that eclipse series in Aries 23, 24, 25 were new moon eclipses alongside the North Node. And on the 29th of March 2025, we get the final one. And they were actually a reference to the outer planets moving into Aquarius, Neptune into Aries, Uranus into Gemini already. So in other words, you may have already seen things begin for you on April 20th, 2023, April 8th, 2024. And this is the final initiation point for the upcoming 20, 30, 40-year transit. So when people say everything is happening right now, I actually think it's been happening behind the scenes. And now we are entering a pattern in which we are hashing out or working through energy that's in relation to the past. These North Node eclipses in Pisces, the full moon eclipses. So that's just another way to see this energy. And so I'll write more of this up, but it's synchronistic to the outer planets. And so I thought it was an interesting thing to point out. Unfortunately, I got cut off last night with this. There was a technical issue, but I would like to do a tarot card reading for all of you. I'd like to do a tarot card reading for all the signs, and provided we don't get interrupted, then I will, sorry about that, then I will post it for everybody, okay? So if you guys have questions, ask them in the description, and I'll include them in the Substack article. But I think it's a really interesting point that is kind of illustrating how the energy that we're entering into now has a reference to the past instead of kind of like this forward-looking perspective that people, where people are thinking it's referring to. It's actually, so from now until 2026, it's almost like, let's do an analogy just in case somebody is not seeing this. You're moving to a new city and you've already got your job, you already got your apartment. Those are the eclipses in Aries that happened between 2023 and 2025 right now, the last eclipse. And so you're setting things up, and then you're already moving, and then you move to the city because that's the outer planets. It's a weird analogy. I can't think of anything else right now. And so over the next year and a half, these full moon eclipses in Pisces signify that you will be tying up loose ends. So maybe you will get in touch with an ex-partner in another city, in that old city, or maybe you'll have to go back and, sell something or, do something else. But there will be a reference to the past over the next year and a half while your new life is building. And in terms of mundane astrology, what I think this signifies is a long time ago, I made the prediction about how the 2020s are going to play out before everybody was saying it. And so I made this prediction and I said 24 and 25 are going to be fairly mellow in comparison to what those later years are going to look like, particularly 2027 through the early 2030s. I think that's going to get really intense. And when I found this pattern, I thought it was very synchronistic with that view. So I'll have to find the original prediction and then I'll show you guys, but maybe I'll put it in that article when I find it. But essentially, this synchronicity is actually pointing to that other pattern that I saw before. Okay, so let's take a look at how this will play out for you in your life. And I'm going to cover up the chat just so I can focus on the reading. I want to be able to, I have to see the screen because otherwise it's going to get messed up. Okay, so I was worried about explaining it to you guys, so let me know in the comments how it resonates for you, because I think it's, for me, in terms of astrology, is always poetic. So when there's like a synchronicity or like an elegance about it, then it really like tickles my feather, you know? So this is like one of those moments where I'm like, wow, it's so synchronistic. 3 full moons in Pisces and then 3 new moons in Aries, and it's all interacting together. So I think it's quite beautiful. Okay, so we start with Pisces first. That's good. Hey Pisces. So this series in Pisces and Virgo is essentially kind of coming to completion of this energy, that of all this, probably for the majority of us, our lives, our entire lives have a reference to this series. And many of us are going to see major turning points and completions alongside these eclipses in Virgo and Pisces, in other words. Okay, so Pisces first. I'm going to pick 4 cards and then look at the chart for you guys. Okay, so we have the universe, which is the world. And then we have the Page of Wands. And then we have the 6 of Wands. These are nice cards, Pisces. You were getting a lot of themes about branching out already. And then we have the Tower. Interesting. So huge change ahead for you, but I think it comes from a fair bit success and achieving the things that you want. Let me get the chart up for you. Okay, so for Pisces, when we're looking at this series, we're taking it back into your first house. I think that some of your financial themes that have been emerging, remember these are new moon eclipses in Aries that we were getting, so it's likely that you are just beginning some financial trajectories of stability. And I will put these dates up for you guys again on Threads, so you can have the specific new moons and full moons that we're talking about. But the series of the 3 new moon eclipses in Aries for the last several years sort of stabilized you. You may not be seeing the full maturation of that, but now you come into your first house with some kind of confidence and emboldening energy, and now you feel emboldened to change certain things about your life. And we have the Universe card. To me, this signifies that there is an opening up energy, which means that I wouldn't be surprised if many of you change your outward place in the world. I feel as though many of you will be crossing different, like going other places and going in different directions, trying the things you've always wanted to do. We have the Page of Wands. I forgot to make an introduction. I'll start doing it more often. I'm changing the way that I read court cards to be gender neutral. For a general reading, this is much more functional, so that you are meant to imply into the card the gender that applies to you. So I'll describe the cards more in terms of characteristics or other qualities. And then if this Page of Stars sounds like a feminine form, then please choose that. Or if it's masculine, then choose that. But what it signifies to me, and I think this is actually you with all these new moon eclipses in Aries, is there a pattern in your last year and a half in which you really began not only a financial path, but also almost kind of embarking on some new adventure as a byproduct of having more financial autonomy? So you became more financially autonomous, you became more self-sufficient, and this autonomy, this breaking away from from the past limitations, specifically financial limitations that you had, is allowing you to dream big and think about the things that you want in life. So this Page of Wands to me symbolizes you. I think you're heading into a time when, between these 3 eclipses in Pisces, I do feel like there's going to be some kind of event that you choose, this is by your choice, that is going to shock the world or rock the people around you. So expect that. It comes on the heels of success, so this isn't something dangerous. I think it's coming from the fact that you are going to feel motivated to act, motivated to move forward on something. Something has been successful, and because of that, you can change certain things around you that have not been good for you up until now. Okay, so we'll do another message for you soon, but I hope you have a nice eclipse in Aries. Oh shoot, hold on. Eclipse in, because I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me clarify. I was in the Pisces. It's my mistake. But the Pisces eclipses are, it's true what I said about Pisces, but we still get one more in Aries. Okay, hold your horses, Veroosh. Okay, so you're still getting one more iteration, the March 29th eclipse in your 2nd house, which means that you're going to have one more iteration of financial stability, which means financial stability opportunities are emerging for you, Pisces. And so the same theme, I just counted ahead. I just counted ahead by 1. So anyway, so it is very much still, look back to the previous 2 eclipses in Aries that we had in this series and think what has begun for me in a financial way. Look for other things beginning, things that can grow into something and things that can transform. Now, in terms of that theme of autonomy and growing into yourself, that's where we're going with these forthcoming eclipses. We get 2 more in Pisces, so that's going to be nice. Okay, same message, timing was different. Okay, so let's see the next message. Okay. So we have the Libra energy next. Hi Libras, let's take a look at your chart. Sun, Moon, and Rising. Maybe watch Pisces, the beginning. I explained a few things about the reading that I didn't explain in the astrology part. Okay, so first card for Libra, we have the Force, which is Leo energy. And then we have the Queen of Hearts, Queen of Cups. Very nice energy for Libra. And then we have the, this is the Sagittarian card of Temperance. And then we have the Four of Swords, excuse me, the Four of Angels. Okay, so what I see in the cards, and then we'll connect it to the astrology. Well, I already looked at the astrology, and I think in some way I should draw on that. So where we are going is into your 6th house, Libra, but not today. We've already had this eclipse on March 14th, the full moon eclipse. But the new moon eclipse we're about to have in the 7th house is a pattern of eclipses to do with relationships in your life. And it's the last eclipse in that pattern. And so this final eclipse will continue on from those eclipses in April and last year in 2023. So you want to look back into what that brought into your life. I think what's coming in through this message is that there's a significant amount of passion or love that is in your heart. This isn't just coming out of you. There are external things that are causing this to happen. This can mean relationships or connections with people that are making you feel this way. So you are experiencing positive connections that are making you feel comfortable, that are making you feel safe. And so because of this, you are opening up. there is a energy around you, which is the Temperance card, that has to do with some kind of supportive energy. It is a arcana, but it is a supportive energy in this case. It could be a person or a situation that is making it safe for you to explore and exist who you are. Out of that comes a significant amount of rest. How this connects to the astrology is that I believe that you have been searching or trying to get and find partnership in world and in life from about, when was my dates? From about 2023 until now. So a focus in your life has been one of finding adequate partnerships. And it comes across energetically as though, you know, like when you go on an adventure or a side quest, this comes across as seeking, searching, trying to find, like very active energetically. So you may have been involved in trying to find love and trying to find connection. And I think that with this final eclipse in Aries, there's this feeling of something happening in your life that fulfills the need for fair partnership and love. And so I feel as though this rest card is coming as a response to that energetic expenditure that you've been engaging in. And now you can feel like you can rest and relax. So there's some supportive energy coming through in Sagittarius that is of, and it doesn't have to be Sagittarius, but it's the Temperance card that is to support you in your search for true love, true friendship, and true compassion. So in other words, you're experiencing those things from other people or with other people right now. And it's with this eclipse, you have this feeling that you can rest, that you can relax, and that you can kind of, like, that need has been fulfilled, or you have achieved what you have been looking for. So that pattern is now completed, and now we're going to be focusing on the 6th house, and we'll talk about that in September. Okay? Let me know in the comments how you guys are liking today's reading. If you have any feedback or any, just let me know. I'm really excited about this. I did have a cup of coffee. That's why I sounded a little rushed. Plus, I was super nervous that the video would fail right away, but hopefully it's not going to this time. Okay, so let's see the next sign. And I'm excited because I know we have enough daylight left to do everybody's reading. So this will be public, available for everyone after we're done. Aries, okay. Speaking of the star of the show, so we have the final eclipse in Aries for a little while. And so this is cool. After doing Aries after Libra is nice. I have the 8 of Pentacles that came up. This signifies probably some measure of success in terms of work, in terms of applying yourself. It feels, I have a feeling that there's a deep satisfaction with what has happened in your life in the last year and a half. So there's this sense of fulfillment. Here, let me change the chart because I'm already talking about it. So let me show you. So here we go, Aries. So in the 1st house, we have Chiron. And Chiron has been the bane of your existence. Whether you are sun, moon, or rising Aries, it's been the transit that has been making you second guess yourself and go through moments in which some of the things that you have to go through are emotionally difficult, or maybe self-confidence may have been triggered. And so having eclipses from 2023 until now in Aries has given you new opportunities in place of places that may have felt vulnerable. Now let's take a look at the tarot. I'll tell you more about the astrology in a minute. Then we have the Knight of Angels. So this is the Knight of Swords. And then we have the Queen of Wands. Queen of Wands. Important communication right away coming through. And then we have the Force, which is Leo, Strength card. The Strength card comes through, oh, 5th house, okay, because you're, okay. And then we have the 2 of Cups. Okay. There's a message that's being relayed alongside this new moon that is a message of love. It's a message of support. It's a message of companionship. So I believe that you are the Queen of Wands, whether you're a man or a woman. And this Knight of Swords is a messenger, Mercury, that's bringing a message to you. The message is being brought to you in some significant way. For whatever that message is, there's a part of this that involves personal empowerment. So this energy in the face of Chiron, this energy in the face of all these eclipses that have been in your 1st house. You guys, I have to warn you guys. Hold on. I do think, so last night what happened, and I didn't want to get into it at the beginning, but there was a concerning issue with a technical issue that may have involved an external force. So it wasn't just on my end. There's signs that this is happening again. Like there's something like somebody's trying to cause the thing to fall. So if that happens, I will post this for members only. I'll film the last bit, and then I will post like a summary for everyone. So if you're not a member, you can follow up on Substack and get this information, okay? But I'm hoping that everything will be fine. I did my due diligence to try to protect everything and reset all the settings, but we'll see how it goes, okay? So I saw some concerning things pop up, so maybe they're trying, but I don't know if they're gonna be able to. Okay, so let's hope for the best. Okay, so we have the Strength card, which represents that relationship to the new moon eclipses in Aries. And so this points to the fact that there is some level of healing or overcoming to your experiences that may have taken away your self-worth. And at the end of all this, you get the 2 of Cups, which signifies a level of fulfillment and satisfaction, relationships with people that are satisfying. There's other communications. You feel like you're getting what you want. You feel like the things that you wanted to achieve are happening. And so this new moon in Aries is going to give you one more iteration of a self-esteem boost, essentially. So we'll talk more about this soon, but the eclipses will be happening in now your 12th house. So we've already talked about it. We'll talk about it again in September. Okay, so let's see the next sign. Okay, so next sign is, we have Cancer. Okay, Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Let's pick some cards, and then I'll switch the... So we have the Knight of Hearts, the Knight of Cups, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. And then we have the Sun. Oh, that's the first time this came up. I expect a lot of these readings to be quite optimistic, and we're not focusing on the whole energy of the eclipse yet. We're just looking at the pattern between Aries and Pisces. And then we have the Ace of Cups. I forgot to sort of highlight the Mercury and Venus retrogrades, but I'll highlight those in the Substack video and how they relate to the 2 eclipses. Essentially, both are beginning where the new moon in Aries is, and then both are completing where on the same axis as where the full moon in Virgo was, and where the Pisces new moon was on September 21st or 18th, 2024. Okay, then we have the 8 of Cups. Okay, hi Cancer, let's take a look at your chart. Okay, so you're healing a bruised heart. Let's just see the astrology before we get into it. There's someone who wants to come into your life who is expressing love and compassion. And remember that this could be a man or a woman in a variety of relationships, but it's really sincere. This person is offering beautiful, loving energy towards you, but there is a pause in your openness to this love. 8 of Cups is ruled by Saturn in Pisces, which is the energy of sort of feeling frozen after a period of flooding or feeling overwhelmed emotionally. So the 8 of Cups is you sort of needing to find your answer to whoever is reaching out to you. But what I can tell you from the cards is that the love that they're wanting to offer to you is sincere, and it has an Ace of Cups component, which signifies that there's a potential of something new here, a potential of a new start. Oh, I remember what we're talking about here. So for Cancer, we've had 3 eclipses in your 10th house in Aries, and the theme for you has been quite a bit of pressure at work from co-workers that are intense or are hard to deal with. You may have experienced discrimination or other forms of office badgering or bad behavior, and these new moon eclipses were helping you to break the mold and break out of the pattern of that. Still, I believe that this has been heavy for you, Cancer, and you are now in a process of feeling distance from those workplace interactions. I think it's really important that as much as you can, you are working on being open to good connections at work or in your public spaces, because they are there, and if you pass them by, you will still feel numbness towards work without their support there. So it's better to have them there than to say no, embrace the 8 of Cups, turn your back, and try to tough it out by yourself. These people that are reaching out to you alongside the new moon eclipse in Aries are good-natured. They have good intentions towards you. They're coming in with the sun. It's a break in the clouds. It's new opportunities. So do consider new opportunities in this moment. Now, we can look back to the full moon eclipse in Pisces, which is actually the reference to the next series that we're going to have. And so the bigger picture that you are going to be unpacking, and you should really do so, is the way that you have to, first of all, it's not your fault. It's not your fault that these circumstances are such as they are, but you have to think around the situations as they are, despite the fact it's not your fault, because you're the only one who is going to pay for other people's behavior. So what we're looking at here with these full moon eclipses in Pisces in your 9th house are really putting pressure on you to change how you think. Care less, for example. Maybe you're caring too much about people at work and you are getting hurt in the process. And why am I being so strict about this? It's because Saturn is about to move in your 10th house. And across the board, in terms of doing readings for people, when Saturn enters the 10th house, I really see a pattern of upheaval in people's work life. Like very drastically, they change jobs and very serious things happen. While that's happening, okay, while Saturn is transiting the 10th house, you really have to stand your ground and not allow it to sort of rule over you and domineer over you. So you want to prepare yourself. If I get the sense that many Cancer type people feel domineered by other people or groups of people in their work life, because Saturn is about to enter your 10th house, you cannot allow that to get you down, even if it's a situation you can't change. So you have to think your way around this, and a clue as to how to do that comes with that eclipse that we just had on March 14th in Pisces, the full moon. So you have to kind of take your lessons, take your learning and apply it. But the big message here is, in your 10th house, embrace these new opportunities. You know how we get hurt and we shut down and we're so not necessarily so open to people reaching out to us? That can be a mistake if that situation is good. So it really does seem as though there is someone or a situation reaching out to you. And I think it's very important for you to reframe this 8 of Cups. Let go of the hurt. It's good to have personal boundaries in relation to personal relationship, love life, friends, and yeah, even work too. But if you hold on to like feeling hurt or feeling like you're making yourself vulnerable, is their behavior correct? No, it's not. But at the same time, if you hold on to those feelings, you're going to hurt yourself in a place where the feelings are turned off by many people anyway. Many people don't come into work in this sympathetic energy. So I think there's great success for you ahead in your career, but I do think that you have to let go of the past and you have to kind of think how to deal with these people at work differently, okay? With a little bit less compassion. Like, always use compassion. I'm not saying to be horrible, but I think that in the 10th house, I think what you really need to do is, I think you're being overly sympathetic. I think you're overly hurt, and that's prompting you to be dismissive of possibly some good opportunities. And I think that you're overemphasizing emotions at work. And I think that's coming from a place of hurt because someone did hurt you. But I think that at this point, that time has passed and you have to essentially move on, or you're going to hurt yourself holding on to those negative feelings. Okay? So good luck with that. We'll read about this more. I think you're getting a new moon in still a few months' time. So, but it's coming. Okay, so next sign is Aquarius. Hey, Aquarius, let's see what's going on for you. Aquarians are about to get eclipses too, but in a little bit. You're next. So you're going to get eclipses with the North Node in about a year and a half time. The Virgo Pisces series is very long. It's really spread out. So it takes a lot of time for it to finish and begin. But then I think your series is going to be wild, Aquarius, not just for you, but for everyone else. Let's pick some cards, but let's focus on this series that's finishing up in Aries. Okay. Okay. So you guys I think I've been kind of explaining this, maybe too focused on Aries. It's important for us to kind of understand it in this flow between Pisces and Aries. So we have the 3 of Wands. And then we have the King of Wands. And then we have the King of Angels, which is the Swords. And then we have the 2 of Wands. Okay, so somebody's coming in very quickly for you, Aquarius. This could be a sibling, because it's the 3rd house we're talking about with this eclipse in Aries. Somebody's coming to you with information. You're going to have very important conversation with someone who is your brother, your sister, your cousin, something on your level, someone who maybe you grew up with, not necessarily a friend, but someone that cares about you. probably somebody who knows you better than other people do. They're coming in with an insight. They're bringing to you information. This information may be by watching you. So they're watching you and they're like, hey, Aquarius, you should know ABC. Or they're bringing you information that you're not aware of. So I heard this happened and you need to be aware of this. So there's information that's being brought to you to open up your world. And again, remember the seeds of Aries, the 3 eclipses, 2023, 2024, 2025. These are seeds, they're in the ground, so they're not all self-apparent. Maybe we are seeing the fruits of the 2023 eclipses now, but it's going to take a while for everything to really emerge. So don't expect everything to be, you know, explicit and like happening all around you. With these new moon eclipses, it's a tidal change. So there's subtle changes. So look for a conversation and the hair on your arms is going to stand up. You're going to have this feeling that this is what Veroosh was talking about. And I think it's going to change your perspective on things. I think it's going to change where you are looking for the future. And that's going to be the end of the series in Aries. So you can look at those eclipses in Aries to understand what that pattern may be for you. And then we're going to shift focus into the Pisces eclipses next. And for the next year and a half, you're going to be working out financial stuff of your own to do with the past. So such things as paying off loans, long-standing loans, buying something that you have been saving for a long time. You will see certain things like this emerge. But these new moon eclipses in Aries, are putting new seeds in the ground that are actually going to be carrying you forward into, like, it's a real start for you, Aquarius, with this new moon. It's the last of 3. So really pay attention to what's going on around you. Okay. So maybe in the Substack, I will walk you guys. There'll be like a component for, at the bottom, I will include a component for you guys to do some journaling work, because it's really about taking a look at those eclipses from 2023 and then getting ready to take care of the Pisces Virgo axis. But I think that being really aware of what happened in 2023, 2024, and 2025 will really set you up for an empowering trajectory with these outer planets of Pluto and Neptune and Uranus. And that's for everyone. Okay? So there's 2 people talking. They could be men. They could be women. I do think it's platonic. And I'm not getting a friendship vibe. I'm getting more of a sibling, maybe brother-in-law, sister-in-law, people like about the same age, an intense conversation. One example that comes to mind is you have a sibling who works in tech and they have caught wind of yet a new path in technology. And they're like, hey, listen up, Aquarius. This is changing this way. You better listen up. So they're giving you like almost good advice and new perspective, which is the 3 of Wands. This card specifically, not all 3 of Wands, but this one always reminds me of a train. It looks like a train to me. It's not a train, but whenever I see this card, it reminds me of a train in a tunnel rushing towards the foreground. And so it seems like information is coming in through this person, this King of Wands. So someone who's coming in from the outside world and telling you some valuable information, okay? So pay attention to who that is and what they're telling you. Okay, so by the way, I think that we'll see what happens. Let's not jinx it. Okay, so we have Capricorn next. Okay, so Capricorn, Sun, Moon, and Rising. This is such a good reading. I'm so excited about this pattern that I found. It makes me so happy. So, and I explained it fairly well. I could have done it better, but then I'll write the article on Substack. And then I can edit and change what I want. But it's pretty exciting because it's like now it makes sense. It's really the energy that's carrying the transition of the outer planets. Pretty cool stuff. Okay, so Capricorn. And the astrology, if you guys remember, has been echoing because in September 2024, I pointed out to you guys how all the retrogrades are ending in the degree at which the Virgo full moon happened over here, right? But the sun was in the same position for this eclipse on March 14th. It was in the same position as 4 different planets are turning direct. Venus, Mercury, and Saturn and Neptune. So those energies are all, it's kind of like taking us back to the past, back to the future. It's all mixed up together. Look up what a chiasmus is, because this is like a perfect example of that. This kind of cross-referencing and meshment, like a nexus of energy. Okay. Capricorn, sun, moon, and rising. Let's take a look. So we have the 5 of Wands. And then we have the 2 of Cups. And then we have the 2 of Wands. And then we have the Queen of Trees, the Queen of Pentacles. Okay, so we have the 5 of Wands, the 2 of Cups, the 2 of Stars, and the Queen of Pentacles. I have a feeling that you're coming to terms, this is just the tarot cards now. I have a feeling that you're coming to terms with a deep need that you want fulfilled. That deep need involves your family. So there's something in your family that's stressful, that's causing you to want to connect with them or want to go back. There's a deep desire to form a loving connection. And when you're separated from your family, you feel unwell. And I think there's a reason for this separation that's happening. There's a reason for the separation that's causing you to separate. But when you're separate, then you feel unwell and you want to reconnect. So it feels very much like a back and forth dynamic. And yet the lesson time and again is that you want to find a way to make it work or make the love work. Okay. I have a feeling that there's someone around you. Now, this could be actually you, Queen of Pentacles, who is having a powerful conversation with you. There's a very deep conversation about like your values. I think you're doing a fair bit of soul searching about what matters and what's important at this time. And there's someone around you who is giving you the right sort of information, the right sort of insight, so that you see your present a little bit better. So we've been in an emphasis for you in terms of family. So we had 3 eclipses in Aries in your 4th house. And so this back and forth dynamic, it's been like, I want to be with my family, but then because of some reason, and it's different for everyone, there's a pulling back of that energy as well. But the answer has always been, I love my family, so I want to reconnect. And I feel as though for some of you, this has been quite painful. So it does come across as a difficult, not easy situation, especially since Chiron is here. And for many Capricorns with Eris here, and that's been in your 4th house for the majority of your life, there's a really intense, maybe even aggressive, or maybe even bitter or vindictive or like something that feels unsafe within the family dynamic. And everybody's going to be different. This is just for the people who are experiencing this. But like if you feel as though there's been an increase in strife or tension and maybe painful situations between family members, I think that's really shown in the chart by Chiron and Eris in your 4th house. So it's not necessarily easy, but yet there's uncomfortableness when you're apart, when you're separated from them. And it's kind of like your own personal lesson about what you want. And through this eclipse, this final eclipse in your 4th house for this series, there's a conversation that puts it in perspective, and that's a really good thing. It's almost like, something important that is being said. And this conversation may have already begun in the full moon in Virgo that we just had, actually, because this could be Virgo as well. So this could be pointing to March 14th. Because it's happened in your 9th house, which is like philosophy and bigger ideas. So you may have been troubleshooting your position and things. And so I think that you're going to get an answer, in short, with this new moon eclipse. But look to the 3 eclipses that we had in Aries for a deeper understanding of what you really want in your family. There isn't a right path, right? For some people, a family is the answer and it's worth fighting for. But for some people, family is so hurtful that it's better to distance yourself and to have your own life. So it's not necessarily like an easy road, and there's definitely not one way right or wrong. So I'm not giving you advice on what to do, just recognizing that you're struggling between a complicated situation that's leaving you distant from people, but yet you're still trying, like your heart is still putting you in the situation. And we've been talking about this pattern for a while for you, Capricorn. So this is the last eclipse in which this theme really emerges. Next sign is Taurus. Hey, Taurus, let's take a look at this for you. Sun, moon, and rising. Okay, so let's see your cards. So we have the Ace of Hearts, Ace of Cups. And then we have the 4 of Wands. And then we have the High Priestess. And then we have the 9 of Pentacles. Ooh. So this has been pretty heavy reading for some of them. Like Capricorn was like a very, very heavy reading. This is looking much, much better, much less intense, and much more like good. Not that the other ones are bad. It's just this one's just good news all around. So so we're not looking at just this Aries eclipse, although I've been talking about it. I'm more trying to filter through the pattern because I think we're going back to the past. Oh yeah, there was another Back to the Future where it's like going back to the past, right? So we're going back to the past with this series in Pisces, but we get one more eclipse in Aries, which is the final one, which was really Back to the Future series. Anyway, okay, so... But what the cards are saying, I want to isolate the cards because the 12th house is always heavier to talk about, but the cards are very optimistic, and I think they're indicating something that you'll be happy to hear. So there is something new involving the heart. So there is a awakening force with the heart and with love. There's something involving your home or family or relationships that's really on its way in a positive light and growing. So for some of you, if you're looking for a child or if you've been wanting to get pregnant, this could signify pregnancy, Ace of Cups with 4 of Wands. It really feels as though there's a new addition. For some of you, it's just a puppy in the house, like a new dog or a new kitten. it feels like new life around the house. Everyone's happy. Everyone's together. It's a very positive energy here. This can also mean people coming together. So deciding to move in with someone at this time as well. So it's a very fortunate couple cards. Then we have the High Priestess and the Nine of Pentacles. And so I feel as though you're going to get some, and this is the 12th house kind of speaking, in my opinion. There's a message about money that's coming to you, Taurus. And so this message about money is assuring you that there's success. So there is financial success towards for you. Sorry, I'm shifting my legs around. It's about that time. Okay, so getting comfortable. Okay, so there is a message. It's a psychic message that's coming to you that's affirming of money. So something that you have been hoping or trying to work out financially, or if you've been searching and you don't know what, someone is giving you insight about that, and it's affirmative. It's saying that you have abundance. Abundance is there. I think the question has been how, not what or if. Like I think that there's an understanding that money and resources and wealth is there for you, but it has been unclear as to how and what exactly. And I think that there's a message that's being given to you that is giving you insight into saying, this is where the money is. This is where the money tree is. You know, this is a great time to get a money tree. I love money trees. They're so pretty. So maybe get a money tree or some other, I think money is there for you. Now, in terms of patterns, I do see a little bit more in terms of the astrology. I know how we've been as Taurus energy has been through this purging of the 11th house. 11th house has to do with your relationships. And I know I have repeated the same message more than once, but essentially in your 11th house of relationships, there's been, even for this last eclipse, I believe I said something like this, to the effect that 11th house feels like you want to get away, like you're tired of their BS. And it's not your BS, it's just the drama, all their drama. You're tired of their BS and you're tired of all their interactions. And the thing that's amended with that part, and remember, this is the series where we're going. So we're going back to the past, the Pisces Virgo axis that the outer planets are leaving behind. Very cool, right? So you've left behind those friends, or you're in the process of leaving the friends that are not working for you behind. And I think that there's a question of, if not them, then who and where, right? And I think that with this series, the one we had on March 14th, which was I keep thinking it's a Pisces eclipse, and I keep making that mistake. It was actually on September 18th, 2024, but then also this September and next September, you'll get an eclipse in this area, and it'll be a full moon eclipse through which people will come into your life. So look back to September 18th, 2024. This September, you're going to get an influx, and then you'll get an influx next year as well. And I think that I don't think that you are going to be without friends. I think that your social life is going to be active. And I think that Saturn through your 11th house right now has felt maybe somewhat as if you're leaking water in terms of friends. Like there's fewer and fewer of them around, or maybe even you're choosing for them to be less around. But I think with this eclipse in September 2024 and the upcoming ones, it's kind of like musical chairs. The good ones are coming in. So I think that, and there's like a foundation of wealth that I'm getting. The 9 of Pentacles, foundation of wealth. So good for you. And whatever's going on in your house, it just feels good and joyful and abundant. So congratulations for those of you who are about to become parents. That's pretty exciting. Or even if it's pet parents, you know, little puppies or kittens or whatever the distribution system gives you, right? Okay, so next we have Leo. Hey, Leos. Let's take a look. Taurus's was the best so far. It's like, don't worry about money. It's coming in buckets. And those friends that left you behind, who cares? You have so many better friends coming. That's like the summary of the Taurus reading. It's like, ooh, I want to have Taurus placements today. Okay, so Leo's next, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Oh, Leo's about to have like a wicked time. Okay. And Sun, Moon, and Rising, right? Okay, so here is your message. So we have the 2 of Trees. And then we have the 2 of Angels. That's the 2 of Swords. 2 twos for Leos. And then we have the 10 of Wands. Okay. The nice thing about this series in Virgo and actually in Aries as well is that there's our train again. 3 of Wands. Okay. Okay. What I see this combination as is a bit of a rebrand. So you're in a bit of a rebrand cycle. You're rebranding your energy with these eclipses in Aries. Sorry if you're watching the whole thing and I'm repeating myself, but every sign needs to hear this. We have 3 eclipses in Aries and they're new moon eclipses. And this is the final one on March 29th, 2025. And then we're stepping into a series, or we have begun a series in Virgo and Pisces. And we'll get a full moon eclipse in Pisces in September. Okay, so there's a couple parts to this. This isn't your reading for the eclipse coming up. It sort of is, but it's more kind of taking a look at the bigger picture between the Pisces Virgo axis and the Aries Libra axis, because I feel like it's really transitional time. Okay, so for Leo energy, what I'm seeing is, let's go back to the Pisces eclipse. That's a good place to start. We're going to get 3 full moon eclipses in your 8th house, Leo. This is one of the more serious placements for this eclipse out of any sign. So if you have Leo placements, pay attention to this. Look back to September 2024 to see what happened. This is a pattern of release. So you are going to be going through release, pruning, releasing, moving things. How do I say this? Letting things go from the past. The eclipse that we'll get in September is going to be still with Neptune and Saturn, because despite the fact Neptune enters Aries, they're going to retrograde back in by the end of the year. And they're going to be in Pisces, I think, for the next eclipse. So you have to prepare yourself to let things go. We already had 1 eclipse here. Now we're going to get 2 more. So over the next 2 years, whatever is done, you have to release it or it's going to hold you back. Okay. And some of that's uncomfortable, but I'm just telling you the pattern. Now we get a new moon eclipse, the last one of 3, in a couple days on March 29th in your 9th house. And I think the cards are talking about this. So I think that when you're looking at your life, when you're looking forward, there's a new perspective that you are perceiving. Things have not been working to your liking, Leo. And that's what I think these eclipses are all about. You don't like what's been going on around you. It doesn't matter what. It's different for different people. But I do feel as though these 9th house eclipses in 2023, in April, in 2024, April 8th, and now on the 29th of March in 2025, there's this hold on. There's this need to like never again kind of message. Hold on one sec. Okay, sorry about that. So I feel that you have been feeling the need to break out of patterns in your life for the last since 2023. And this is the Two of Wands, the Two of Pentacles, sorry, and the Two of Swords. And this is both just sort of like changing the environment, and anything that's been, you've been really seeing, connecting the dots, how people's behavior and how your own behavior or the things around you are holding you back. And there's this real calculative, like calculating portion here of trying to figure out what is going on, logically understand what's going on and in what amounts. Okay. I think it's reached the level of being quite heavy at times. Maybe I'm being too abstract, so let me explain in a very like simple terms and not abstract. Essentially, what I think has been going on is the way that your life has been functioning is not functional for you. You're unhappy with it. And I think that through these eclipses, you have been figuring out why. The relationships you have, the things you believe, the things you do, how you save money, how you talk with people, how people talk with you. All of these are parts that direct how your life functions. And so we have the Ten of Wands. It comes to the point where your life, I don't want to be triggering, but you're really discontent with your life to the point that it's not happening in the way that you want it to be. And it feels heavy, like you're carrying somebody else's burden. Okay. And with this eclipse, it's all about rethinking that. And a part of it entails feeling uncomfortable. Hold on one sec. Feeling uncomfortable. You're supposed to feel uncomfortable at this time because that discomfort is prompting you to say, I don't want this anymore. So you're going to have these kinds of experience. This is the last of the 3 eclipses that entail that. The eclipses that are coming up in Pisces, we've already begun the series. So right here are going to be you releasing that. So it's basically you're making a list and then you're going to have to do the list. So you can't ignore it. Okay. So that's it. So right now with this eclipse on March 29th, 2025, you're still going to be saying, this is really heavy and I don't want to carry this situation any longer. And with that, you get vision because you're allowing yourself to see something different, to go in a different direction and reach out for something else. Okay. And it's through 2 things, the Pentacles and the air. So it's the mind, the way you think or other people think or talk, and your financials. So how you are spending your money or what physically is going on around you. You're shifting things around. But the big work comes with these eclipses in Pisces, the full moon eclipses. That's why I said it's significant, because then you're going to have to, it's like, you know what you have to do, but you're going to have to do it. And some of it, some of you are going to feel resistant. Like, I don't want to do that. Okay. Some of you are going to be not into it. It's easier said than done, you know? When I do readings, I always think about that. I'm like, easier said than done, Veroosh. And it's so true. And it's true for me too, you know? And I never take that lightly. Like, it's very easy to describe compared to actually do it. Okay, so Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Okay, so Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising. So you get eclipses. So again, the series that's starting is in your 4th house. And the series in which we get the final new moon eclipse is in your 5th house. So this is, okay, so remember fun Sagittarius, happy-go-lucky, Sun, Moon, and Rising. So you've gone through a 3-part eclipse series from 2023, from April, what was it? April 20th, 2023, April 8th, 2024, and then this one that's coming up that is talking about where you have joy and romance in your life. And you've been really relearning how to have fun and how to feel good about yourself. So regarding that comment about dissatisfaction and how people talk about Sagittarians, I think that's particularly for those of you who feel that way, like how people feel about you and, you know, how they kind of, or how you feel about everything as well. And so with this last eclipse, really focus on what brings you joy. This is the last new moon eclipse here for a while. It's your 5th house, and your 5th house is kind of like, it's your sweet spot, you know? It really is a sweet spot for you, and you want to embrace this because joy and happiness is it's the thing that makes you shine. So you want to really find, and there's no wrong answer. So whatever you find joy in, whatever is joyful for you, then you need to do that. Okay, so let's pick some cards for Sagittarius. It's like a homework assignment. Can somebody in the comments reply, what was the homework assignment that I was going to give you guys? Like write down, what was the worksheet for the 3 eclipses for both, right? In the Substack. So it's a reflection exercise, so we don't have to rush it, but I think it's a good one. Okay. All right, so let's see. We have the Sagittarian card, Temperance. And then we have the 2 of Cups. This came up a lot. Lots of 2 of Cups. 2 of Cups is ruled by Venus in Cancer. And then we have this never came up. This is the first time. This is my favorite card. The Awakening is the Last Judgment. Okay. And then we have the King of Cups. Ooh, Sagittarius, love. So the 5th house is love. So, you know, I don't do love readings per se, but if there's love on the table, I am going to tell you about it. So you have love on the table in a big, big way. So I'm loving this energy for you, you know, and it looks good. A big decision about love for some of you. Maybe a slow approach with the Sagittarian card. I think this card is always talking about sincerity. So someone, male or female, who has very sincere emotions towards you. And this 2 of Cups is about the true nature of love. So like a real 2 of Cups as opposed to the Lovers, it represents the feelings. So sincere feelings about love, trust, compassion, feeling concern for someone else, or feeling just kindness and innocence almost. And so we have the Temperance card, and we have the 2 of Cups and the Last Judgment and the King of Cups. This involves some kind of decision, right? There's a big, and I feel as though it's a decision that one or both of you have been holding back on, and there's a more affirmative path that's being confirmed. Remember, these eclipses in Aries, so this reading is more about patterns than like the eclipse in and of itself. It's more to understand how that chiasmus is working in our chart. And so the Aries energy here, it's all about the future, right? So this is, that future began in 2023, and it began in a series of events in April and March that initiates love in your life, Sagittarius. So this could be attitude change. This could be you promising yourself that you're going to find love, or that you're open to love now. This could look like a promise to find happiness, whatever that happiness is, forgiving yourself for the past and making a commitment for the future. Whatever begins in this new moon eclipse in Aries right here, it's a promise for the future. It's not fully complete now, okay? But whatever is happening for you, Sagittarius, by the way, I totally forgot, this is your card, right? I think that something is starting for many of you. Anything to do involving love, joy, happiness, you should embrace at this time. So if somebody is showing you love and you're like, I don't know about this, I don't think you'll be questioning it, frankly. And I think that it could be a change of decision, and a big decision, like being made about someone, or like, I'm going to give this a try, or, you know, having a little bit more, not self-confidence, but in that moment, self-confidence, like feeling a little bit more confident in the moment, like the timing feels right. And so these eclipses that are going to come up, the full moon ones in Pisces, they have to do with the past, and they are a reference to letting go of family burdens, okay? We'll talk about this in September, but you've already seen one in March. And I think that's probably something that some of you have experienced that has been holding you back in love, in happiness. Remember, the fifth house is like simple happiness. It's like the simple things that bring you joy. And I feel as though these eclipses are dealing with any blockages to experiencing that joy for you. So right now we're beginning these eclipses in Pisces. We already have begun them in September, and we're finishing up the ones in Aries. But those in Pisces you have to let go of some things to do with your family, or memories that are holding you back, or patterns that are hurtful to you, that are hurting you and stopping you from being joyful in the present moment. And you'll spend about 2 more years, unpacking that. But it's at the same time, this love that's beginning is going to be growing. So enjoy. It's nice. I promise. Okay. Okay. What do we... Oh, and then we're going to have Neptune and Saturn. We'll have a whole conversation about your fifth house later. But yeah, just trust the process and allow yourself to be joyful and happy. Okay, so next sign. We have 3 more to go. This went really fast, eh? Once I was on a mission. Gotta get this done. Scorpio's next. Okay, so let's see. Sun, Moon, and Rising Scorpio. So it looks as though this video is like working fine. So if you guys want to give it a like and a comment, I would greatly appreciate it. And so, yeah, so that will send the video back to you as well. I took a little bit of a break. Hopefully it won't crash out on us. Silly. Okay. And it's not Mercury retrograde, unfortunately. I wish it was Mercury retrograde. I wish it was simple as that. Okay, so let's see the next message. It was the stuff, if you were here last night, it's more of the same kind of behavior. Okay, so on another note, never... sometimes you have to be around people who are intolerant of you. You don't have a choice. But like, if you can, never choose to be around intolerance. They will always persist to be intolerant. It's very, very toxic. Speaking to the Scorpios in toxicity. I also see the eagle sitting in his tree or her tree. There's 2 of them, the couple that live across the way. So, kind of. What did I see with the eagle that was beautiful? Oh, I saw First Nations. I have to find that video. I think I saved it. They were up on a pole, and the man was dressed in ceremonial costume, and he had the eagle costume, and they were on a pole really high up, and there was people around him that were spotting him so he didn't fall off. But literally the pole was 12 inches wide, and he was doing the eagle dance on top of the pole. It's the most beautiful thing. And he has like big wings, and like that is so beautiful, so inspiring. And I thought that was like the most beautiful expression of eagle energy I think I've ever seen. Okay, so Scorpio energy, sun, moon, and rising. Okay, so we have the Wheel of Fortune, which is Jupiter, although we're not talking about Jupiter a lot today. And then we have the Knight of Cups. And then we have the Nine of Wands. And then we have the Eight of Pentacles, Eight of Trees. Okay. So Scorpio, where is your eclipses? Oh, because this is your last sixth house eclipse. Listen, sixth house does not get fair treatment. Like it's not the sexiest house. Let's just be fair. But at the same time, it's the one that makes it all work. It's, you know, when you go through something and then you reflect on it. So essentially, the sixth house is where everything sets. This is where everything goes below the horizon in the sixth house, right? So when you do something and that is completed, like the sun setting or the moon setting or any of the planets, they're in the sixth house after they set. And that sixth house represents your moment of remembering what's important, what you did well, and, you know, what you could have done better. This isn't a reading on this, but it's more of like talking about what these new moon eclipses in the sixth house could mean. So even though it's not the sexiest house, it's pointing to thinking about what's really important. It's a very literal house, the things you must get done. And so this final eclipse here is pointing to like kind of somewhat isolated, but also at the same time working on something that's really important. Okay? So whatever is going on for you, cherish that. It's the last eclipse in a series of eclipses that kind of opens up this time period of 20 years for you guys. So this eclipse here is monumental. It's the building blocks, and whatever you're working on, whatever is happening in terms of your efforts. This is Sun in Virgo, and the sixth house is the house of Virgo. So it's very like hands-on energy. What I see here is that there's a new emotional beginning, a new offer. There's some kind of something very lucky. There's a promise of tomorrow. Now, when we're looking at this, I feel as though this is pointing to the series that we're beginning now in Pisces and Virgo. The first eclipse was in September 2024, but we get one in September of this year. This series points to the past, and this may be a culmination of past experiences moving forward, but over the next 2 years, there's something involving possibly love, possibly offer, possibly a change for the better, which is the Wheel of Fortune. There's some very positive energy, a very emotionally fulfilling, like you get what you want, Scorpio. You've been waiting and now it's coming to you. And relationships, always remember, it's not just love, it can be friendship, but it involves the fifth house, and it involves some kind of offer, some kind of agreement on an emotional level. So this Aries eclipse, which is the last eclipse, is talking about the future. And so you have to take it seriously. Do what you need to do to get things done. Well, this eclipse, which was in Virgo on March 14th, but in Pisces on September 18th, 2024, I got it now, has to do with this more of a personal experience. I feel like in some way it's a long time coming. It's something that you have desired for a long time, and whatever you have been waiting for is coming, and it's going to produce for you, you know, abundance and like a wish fulfillment in terms of love, family, maybe less family, love, joy, emotional fulfillment, happiness, something that's going to make you really happy. So that eclipse is coming up in September, but it's already begun in September of last year. Okay. But right now, focus on a little bit of isolation, a little bit of work, like hard work and focused work. Okay. So I'll be back with more. So but you have to do your work. Okay. Get your work done. Okay. So a couple more signs. I know one of them is Virgo, which is, if you guys don't know, reading Virgo last makes me so happy. I love it. We have Gemini, Virgo last. Yay. It's my favorite. It's like my cherry on top when I do your guys' readings. Okay, so we have Gemini. If you guys don't know, I'm a Virgo, so I like it at the end because it's something to anticipate, and I don't know, I just like it. Okay, so we get eclipses in Pisces and Aries. And this next eclipse on March 29th has to do with the 11th house. This is a pattern of expansion of friends, new horizons, possibly because we're in this big technology push. For some of you, you may be embarking on new technologies that are really in your favor in the 11th house. New technologies that are in your favor, branching out. I sense connecting with different people. And this is a pattern that began in 2023. And this pattern of 3 eclipses is actually taking you forward. It's taking you forward for the next 20 years. So even though it's not as explicit, it's just the beginning of the journey, it's really important to know where things are going. The eclipses that we're finishing up in Pisces in September and this September, they're all full moon eclipses, except there was a Virgo eclipse here just a few days ago on March 14th. But let's focus on the 10th house. Those eclipses are going to be happening until 2026 in September. And I think one in August 28th, right? 2026. And they're happening in your 10th house, Gemini, which to me signifies a completion to do with work. So this is almost like tidying up. Like, let's say you've retired and you're finishing up your previous work, but you're retired. And the North Node eclipses will be like the final things you must do before full retirement or before full change. It'll be different based on how old you are and what your situation is, but it's a pattern to do with your career and your public life. And it's kind of like a tying up event that we're in that has to do with the past. And in some ways, these Aries eclipses initiate something that's waiting for you on the other side of that pattern, of the Pisces Virgo pattern. Okay, so let's see the cards. Okay, so we see the 2 of Cups. This came up for so many people, so much loving energy. It's so nice. And then we have the 2 of Swords. And then we have the 4 of Hearts. So many hearts for Gemini. I do sense a Page of Hearts. Look at this. I love this. This is what you're getting. New friends, offers. I think some of those offers seem like maybe you're not seeing their full potential right away. But I think they're sincere. I think there's also peace, the 2 of Swords. There's peace between you and someone else. So this may signify someone with whom you've had conflict with, that resolving itself and kind of improving situations. We've had Chiron in your 11th house. It's not been an easy transit for you, Gemini, in terms of friends and social connections. And even this Cazimi tomorrow between Venus and the Sun, so good for new beginnings and friendships coming around full circle, things improving. And this, I love this Page of Cups. To me, this is like a puppy, okay? The Page of Cups. And it's not gendered, you know, male, female, whatever, whoever, or whatever in terms of animal. But it's like a little puppy, like full of joy and full of love, beaming towards you. And I feel like with this eclipse, which is the last of 3, there's just so many things that are of a positive nature that are springing up for you here in terms of love and friendship. And just, this is really nice. It feels as though a situation in which there was some degree of conflict, or you were at odds with someone, like a friend of yours, you couldn't find it feels like that's really working itself out. I think that overall, Gemini, you're going through a release pattern to do with work. And I made an example of retirement, but if you're working age, it likely will point to the fact that you're going in for a career change or some kind of you're in the midst of that. Or maybe you have just completed that and there's some things that you have to still do before you finish. Okay. So there's like, how do I say this? In these Pisces series that's coming up, there's still unfinished business, you know, and that unfinished business will get sorted out, and provided you're in harmony with it, everything will work out well. Okay. So yeah, I'm really liking these cards, like really friendly, really like, I feel like Gemini has been without friends, or without friends that resonate for them in a significant way. And I'm getting like really friendly, good energy, like friends I think Gemini has been feeling, there's like this feeling of disappointment that what friends are giving you. And so this energy is very kind. And it's like, I'm happy for you because I think you're happy for the people that are around you. Like, you're content and you feel fulfilled with their energy. Okay. Last but not least is Virgo. Yay. Hey girl, hey. The 2 mercurial signs. Mercurial. I can't say that well. But anyway, so one thing I didn't talk about in the intro that I didn't stress, and I'll put in my Substack, is that Venus, I did mention it, but I didn't like highlight it, that Venus and Mercury, the 2 inner planets, are actually carrying this energy back in the retrograde cycle. So the retrograde begins where the April eclipse or March 29th eclipse is in 2025, and it ends where the September eclipse was in 2024, and where the sun was for the full moon eclipse in Virgo in 2025. So for like a couple days ago. So since you're a Mercury ruled sign, maybe some Geminis are still watching, this is significant for you because your ruler is taking the energy back into Pisces alongside with the sign that's exalted in Pisces. So really, really poetic, really, really beautiful. Okay, so let's see for Virgo, sun, moon, and rising. So this is the last hard eclipse, I think. I'll tell you guys about this now. Virgo's is an interesting one. Oh, look at this. 4 of Pentacles and the moon. There's resistance around you, and there's secrets. There's resistance, and there's people that are holding on to whatever is going on. They're holding on to that energy. Okay, so let's see the cards. So we have the Page of Swords. I hope you guys had fun. This was a really good reading, and I'm glad it's still daytime. 10 of Swords. That's Gemini, Sun in Gemini. And then we have the Ace of Ace of Wands. And then we have the 7 of Cups. Okay. Virgos always get hard readings with me, and I'm really sorry it's not. I'm a Virgo, so I mean, you have to be tough if you like Virgo readings with me, or they always kind of seem to come with a bit of a lesson because I'm how do I say this? I'm a very practical thinker, so it's not like a pat on the back that I'm usually seeking. It's like, what's going on? What do I need to do about it? So that's kind of the energy there. But so unfortunately, I'm a Virgo, so that's how it comes up, and I'm sorry. But I have my thoughts on this. So it's not the easiest series that we're finishing up for Virgo because it was in the 8th house, right? With Aries. And so in some ways, there is some big patterns that Virgos have been called to transform. And this transformation pattern will carry on for the next 20 years. Okay. And so there are things that are emerging in Virgo's lives that you should pay attention to. Those things, I had the download earlier today, actually. And it was like, this is something that we all know, but it was like a download in the sense, like, pay attention to this. Get things done early. Like when situations emerge that need to be dealt with, do them as fast as you can. Like, nip them in the bud. If you allow things to continue the way that they're going, unaddressed, or then it's going to become bigger and harder for you to carry and harder for you to deal with. So this is the kind of feeling, like if you allow things to fester, then they will grow and it will become a much more difficult situation for you to manage. And that's the 10 of Swords and the 7 of Cups. So I think that's a very strong message for the eclipse in Aries. So just address things as they come. There's an emotional component to all this. As things emerge, addressing them quickly will allow you to keep emotions out of it. And when the emotions are somewhat removed, it's much easier to deal with than allowing it's almost like filling a bowl with water. If you fill the bowl up, it will become full of water and much heavier to carry. So we have the 10 of Swords. In certain situations, you will have to make critical decisions, not anything more than anybody else, but in the sense, like, the focus here is you have to deal with things and quickly. And it's to your advantage to deal with things quickly and efficiently, and then it will be less stress or less worry, less problems. But if you allow things to continue, or if you avoid dealing with them, then it will lead to a lot of mugginess and you will sort of get stuck. So inaction is not your friend, Virgo. This is saying very quick, very intensely alongside this Aries eclipse. This is the 3rd eclipse in this series. So you want to look back to April 20th, 2023, April 8th, 2024, and March 29th, the one that's coming up, for a pattern as to what that means for you. You should see a clear and decisive pattern. For some of you, this is clearing out relationships because the 8th house is shared spaces with other people. This is like emotional cleanliness that you have to engage in. Do not get messy with people emotionally. And in particular, with regard to partners or people with whom you share space, when it's done, and it's much better for you to cleanse, move on, release, rather than to dilly-dally about it. It's not even, they just kind of like hold on to it and avoid the interaction. Now that feeds directly into the Pisces energy. Saturn in the 7th house is kind of known as one of like the key Saturn transits that can really knock a person on their butt. It has a lot to do with like what your relationships are all about and how those relationships fare and who's fair to who. Many times people have like rude awakenings with Saturn's transit in the 7th house. Like they realize that the people around them are not as great as you know, you gave them credit for, or maybe you've been ignoring dynamics with people. So these eclipses that have started in September 2024, September 18th, 2024, September 21st. No, it's going to be September 7th, 2025, and August 28th, 2026, have to do with Saturn transit. This year and last year, Saturn will be in Pisces, but next year in 2026, it's not going to be there anymore. And these eclipses have to do with like healing your intimate relationships with other people, and in some way, kind of, in other words, I'll make it more direct. Some uncomfortable truths about your relationships may have emerged in 2024 and possibly even this year in 2025. Although last year's eclipse was probably, you were feeling much more vulnerable with it, and this one you'll be feeling much more empowered to do something about it. The next one in 2026, in August 28th, I think it's going to be your big cathartic moment in relationships. So whether it's you're with a partner right now and you're going through something, or you're getting into a relationship, there's a real reframe of your relationships in terms of what you allow into your space. This is a message about emotional health in general. It's about not allowing certain behaviors around you, so that, and seeing if you allow certain behaviors around you, seeing the impact on you from those behaviors. So it's not like a bad reading in the sense, but it's a serious reading in the sense that you recognize, like, you can't allow that around. And if you allow that around you, you're the only one who's going to miss out and hurt. But you do get the Ace of Wands to me, and I think this has to do with this eclipse that's happening right now in Aries on March 29th. I think you have a new business idea, something to do with business. And I think part of the conversation here has to do with how you allow other people to influence your money and your financial opportunities. I get the sense that you have a great idea for a business, and depending on how well you're managing people around you, they will have an influence on how successful that business is. So it's really your call to be kind of Tens of Swords, which means you have to be a bit intense in terms of not allow, like, this is your primary goal, okay? This is your future, because these Aries eclipses are the next 20 years, and you can't allow your bleeding heart in and kind of slow you down in what you are doing. And it's going to try to. So relationships are going to show up right now for the next 2 years. They're going to come into, you're going to have to work out your balance through this. And so they're going to want time and attention, but they're not really healthy for you. And you're going to have to make decisions to nurture this. And how well you nurture this will lead to how successful you are. The other thing that I'm getting is that there may be messengers that are coming to you that there's like messengers that are coming to you with information, Virgo, from that situation. But yeah, the eclipses for you are really about personal autonomy, and then like cleanliness in your emotional cleanliness in your personal relationships. So don't give them too much space, don't give them too much authority over how, like, don't spend all your time, how do I say this, coddling someone else, right? Don't spend all your time nurturing someone else or coddling them. Okay, I hope you guys are doing well. We made it to the end, so I'm excited about that. Thanks for everybody who was watching live. Make sure to leave a comment and a like if you don't mind. I'm going to write this up in a more eloquent way and post it on my Substack. And I'm posting short videos, so make sure to like those and comment if you like. And thank you for watching. I hope you have a nice day. I'm glad we made it today. Woohoo! I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye.